Within the past year, Supercell has introduced not one, not two, but 3 new characters that can help us build faster and more efficiently. But the negative is all these guys cost gems. But which of these guys are actually worth spending gems on, and is any one better than any other? The Builder's Apprentice was the first to be introduced in the June 2024 update, with the first level costing 500 gems for 1 hour builder assistance per day, going all the way up to 1,000 gems for the 8th level, and 8 hours of builder assistance for a total cost of 6,500 gems. And while he is a cute little guy, he costs a little more than his older brothers do. With the first builder being free, the second costing 250 gems, third 500 gems, fourth 1,000 gems, and fifth 2,000 gems. So jumping from 2,000 to 6,500 gems is quite a jump. But if we're early on in our Clash of Clans journey, is this expense actually worth it? The second character, which is of course the lab assistant, was introduced in the November 2024 update, and similar to the builder's assistant, he helps upgrades in the lab go much quicker. And while the first level is free, the second level costs 500 gems all the way to level 12, which costs 1,000 gems for a total cost of 8,500 gems. Did we actually get this number right? Can you go back and check with the research team to make sure that this number is correct? Because holy cow, that seems like a lot. And since researching in the lab takes longer than anything else, at 5 years, 4 months, and 16 days, this assistant could really be helpful in getting us to in-game much more quickly. And finally, there's the newest helper character introduced in the February 2025 update, known as the Alchemist. Did someone say that they want to trade some gold for some elixir? Or maybe some dark elixir? And while the first level cost only 100 gems, the subsequent 6 levels cost up to 1,500 gems for a total cost of 5,850 gems. And while I can see the Alchemist being helpful, as long as we're farming enough and if we're planning our upgrades, I just don't see how this character specifically is going to make us finish more quickly. But the big question is, which one should we buy first if we have the gems? And is any one worth any more than any other? Wow, I said any a lot. There is a really cool graphic over on the Clash of Clans wiki that shows how long it would take to recoup the cost if we used our gems for other options such as magic items or the Goblin Builder in-game. And it will take as much as 488 days or over a year and 4 months, for example, to see that return on investment. But their numbers are clear. If we're using these assistants early on in our upgrading journey and we have the gems to buy them, then they are more efficient than any of the other options that we have in game over the long run. Which brings us back to the question, Builder's Assistant, Lab Assistant, or Alchemist? And the answer I have found myself coming to is the Builder's Assistant is going to be my #1 pick for helping me finish more quickly. And this is for 3 reasons. Number 1, I have always said that heroes are the #1 upgrade that anyone should be finishing as quickly as possible, and only the Builder's Assistant can help us with that progress. Number 2, we have twice as many magic items for the lab as we do buildings, and that we have 1 single book of building versus a book of spells and a book of fighting. And same with hammers, meaning we will have other ways to help us finish the lab more quickly. Now I know it could be argued that a Book of Heroes also counts as a building upgrade, but personally I consider the Book of Heroes to be in a separate category. Number 3, oftentimes in the lab, we already have the troops and spells maxed out that we regularly use, meaning the lab assistant might be helpful in finishing off our bat spell, for example. But if we never use the bat spell anyways, then is it really a big deal that we get it done a little faster? And although I personally would focus on the Builder's Assistant first over any of the other characters, the reality is efficiency is efficiency. And as we upgrade each of these assistants in their individual levels, they get more expensive. And an hour of time is an hour of time, whether that be with the Builder's Apprentice or with the Lab Assistant. So for efficiency purposes, I would focus on the first 2 levels of the Builder's Apprentice, then the first 4 levels of the Lab Assistant, levels 3 and 4 on the Builder's Apprentice, then levels 5 through 8 of the Lab Assistant, then the final 4 levels on the Builder's Apprentice, finishing out with the final 4 levels of the Lab Assistant. And while the Alchemist is super cool, I love the idea. The reality is, with a little farming, a little bit elbow grease, a little planning, she's really not needed. So I personally have bought the first level for the 100 gems just for the convenience, but I likely will not be leveling her up any more past that point. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more future content that will be coming out. And if you're early on in your upgrade journey and you're curious about strategic rushing, check out this video. It gives the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of everything that you need to do to get started and to be successful.